You might be investing. You might be contributing every month. You might even feel responsible about your financial future. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Hidden fees could be quietly stealing your retirement. Not dramatically, not in a way that feels painful today, but slowly, consistently, and over decades, that quiet drain can turn into a massive loss. Let's talk about where your money might be leaking without you even noticing. The invisible erosion. Most people focus on returns. What's my annual percentage gain? But very few ask, what am I paying? Because fees don't show up like a bill in your mailbox. They're embedded, automatic, subtle, and because they're subtle, they're ignored. The problem, even a 1% annual fee can destroy a significant portion of your long-term growth. Not because 1% sounds big, but because compounding works both ways. Returns compound, fees compound too. Expense ratios, the silent cut. If you invest in mutual funds or ETFs, you're likely paying an expense ratio. That's the annual fee charged to manage the fund. It might be 0.10%. It might be 1%. It might be even higher. At first glance, 1% seems small, but over 30 or more than 40 years, that 1% can reduce your final retirement portfolio by tens or even hundreds of thousands, depending on how much you invest. Why? Because you're not just losing 1% this year. You're losing the growth that 1% would have generated next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. Compounding turns small percentages into massive differences. Advisory fees add up. If you use a financial advisor, you may be paying around 1% of assets under management annually. Again, it sounds harmless. It's just 1%. But imagine you build a $500,000 portfolio. That's $5,000 per year in fees. If you grow to $1 million, that's $10,000 per year. Every year. And remember, that's not a one-time payment. That's ongoing. Over decades, that can amount to a significant portion of your wealth. Now, this doesn't mean advisors are bad, but it does mean you should know exactly what you're repaying and what you're receiving in return. Trading fees and hidden costs. Frequent trading can also drain your portfolio. Some platforms charge commissions. Others use spreads, meaning you pay slightly more when buying and receive slightly less when selling. Individually, these costs feel tiny, but constant activity magnifies them. Long-term investing often outperforms frequent trading, partly because it minimizes friction costs. Every time money moves unnecessarily, a small slice disappears. High-cost retirement accounts. Some retirement plans, especially certain employer-sponsored accounts, offer limited fund options with higher fees. You may not have chosen the expensive fund intentionally. It may have been the default option. Many people never review their investment selections after signing up. They assume it's fine. But over 20 or 30 years, a higher-cost fund versus a low-cost alternative can create a dramatic gap in retirement outcomes. Small differences today, massive differences tomorrow. Inflation is also a fee. There's another hidden drain most people underestimate: inflation. If your investments aren't growing faster than inflation, your purchasing power is shrinking. Holding large amounts of cash in low-interest accounts may feel safe. But over time, inflation quietly reduces what that money can buy. Inflation doesn't send you a statement, it just slowly weakens your future. That's why growth matters, not aggressive gambling, but strategic long-term investing. The psychology of ignoring fees. Why do people ignore fees? Because they're boring, because they're complicated, because they don't create immediate pain. But retirement is built over decades, and in long-time horizons, details matter. If two people invest the same amount with the same returns, but one pays significantly lower fees, that person often ends up with substantially more, not because they were smarter, not because they earned more, but because they protected their compounding. What you should do: first, check your expense ratios. Know the percentage. Second, Understand any advisory fees you're paying. Ask what value is being provided. Third, review your retirement account options. Are there lower-cost alternatives available? Fourth, minimize unnecessary trading. The fewer friction points, the better. And finally, remember that even small improvements today can create large differences in 30 years. Final thought: retirement isn't destroyed in one dramatic moment. It's eroded slowly, quietly, through percentages most people never question. The good news: you don't need extraordinary returns to build wealth. You need consistency, time, and protection against unnecessary loss. Because when it comes to retirement, the real enemy isn't always bad investing. Sometimes, it's the fees you never noticed. And the sooner you see them, the more of your future you keep.